And good morning, guys. How's the audio and how's the video this morning? Are we good? Okay, cool. Let's get this show rolling. Hold on 1 second here. Okay, and let's do this, and good morning. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. Welcome to people who are on Twitter. If you'll take a minute, YouTube, if you'll take a minute to read this. Past performance is not indicative of future results. You can lose a lot of money trading futures. I highly suggest you use either Apex Futures Funding or Top Step Trader to find out whether you can trade or not. Right? It's actually a pretty damn important thing. And let's see, anything else? That's it. Just follow the process. That'd be my strongest suggestion. If you'd like to take a visit to the room and join us on our march to 1 million, TRADEnPerform@gmail.com is how you get a hold of me and ask for a 5-day pass. So let's jump into the meat of the market. So first of all, I want to discuss this 5-minute level deal right out of the gate. So when you have the opening range, okay, so like if you look at yesterday, you could have argued quite eloquently that, let's erase the lines. You could have argued quite eloquently after we closed underneath here that that they attempted to test the lows, failed, and pushed out to the upside, and that we were long, particularly right over here on the supernova when it came back and you got orange dot off of orange dot, right? Okay, I have no problem with that analysis, right? I'm totally cool with that, but I need a way of quickly discerning who's in control, because my problem isn't figuring out this trade. My problem is when we get over here and I start shorting it, right? Thinking, oh, it's going to go lower. And this little 5-minute range prevents me from aggressively shorting these trades so I don't get run over. The money that I make down here does not compensate me for the money I lose over here when we just catch this thing on rails and we go straight up, right? So just like every tool, there's a plus and a minus to using any tool. So the minus is, yes, I may miss long trades from underneath here, right? This set my bias to the short side bias and it didn't flip till we got over here. However, there's enough days that once we get over here, we get this backside test and it sets up with the algo and it pushes out to the upside, and I am totally fine with waiting for those days in this case, because it keeps me from getting just trucked as this thing takes off and moves and doesn't pause, right? So that's all I have to say about that. Some people want to take it off. It's very simple, guys. If you want to take it off, just come over here and go to initial balance, hit hide, hit apply, and that 5-minute initial balance goes away, and then you have a different perspective, right? But I'll leave it on there because I'm more concerned with getting run over, with my bias getting to the wrong side. And I want to talk about a few things about my bias getting to the wrong side. I have someone who's a member in the room but not in the room, who's almost never in the room. So actually I'll tell you who it is, Daniel in Austin, right? And every single morning, right, despite the fact that I've asked him not to, he sends me these how the market's going to go down 20% text messages, right? And he shows me every freaking angle. Now, Daniel does great work, right? I've got no problem with the work Daniel does, but I've got to have a way of getting Daniel out of my head, right? Because let me tell you, when Daniel hits it right, he makes a boatload of money, right? He really is great at managing risk, but I'm not as good as he is at managing risk, right? And he's doing a lot of this through options. So I've got to have a way to offset it. And so in my brain, this is very easy, right? I want to press shorts from below and I want to press longs from above until we stretch significantly away. And then my goal is to get back to that 5-minute level, right? The other thing that helps me determine direction, again, is going back to this 24-hour, this moving average. See how we're clearly closed? This is the 5-day moving average on a 15-minute chart, okay? This helps me know, like if you look at this over a long period of time, what you will notice is when we're above this, the extensions to the upside are significant. Doesn't mean that shorts can't work in this environment. What you will see constantly is these U-turns are pretty significant when we're above, and when we close below like this, that's where you start getting the larger extensions to the downside, which is why when we got underneath over here, your extensions down started working pretty nicely. And if you go back and look at that over a course of time, right, basically what you want to say is, hey, if I want to be short, I want to press these shorts from underneath. And if I'm long, I want to look for the extensions up above, and then sometimes you're just going to get fuddled when it kind of fiddles around right on top of the moving average. It's the only moving average that I use currently in my trading, and I don't intend to introduce more moving averages. But what you'll see is once it's underneath, you can get nice fat extensions to the downside. When you're above, you can get some really big fat extensions to the upside, right? Now I want to pause the conversation right there and switch since I'm talking about extensions, right? There's two ways to do this, and I got to commend Guy. Guy has every single day put down somewhere between $400 and $700 a day. I think now we're going on 2 weeks, Guy, if I'm correct. And before that, before he had a little bit of a drawdown, but he's been doing that consistently, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, right? And if he has 20 accounts and he's distributing those equally across those 20 accounts, right, he is going to hit his $1 million mark this year. There's nothing that can stop him. It's mathematics, right? And he's doing it every day. So I'm going to do something incredibly dangerous to start the day off with, which is Guy noticed a very interesting chart patterns, okay? And I don't have it fully developed. I'll be trading it off to the side. You can look at it. He has simply taken the 10-tick chart and not aggregated it. So let's see if I have this. So analysis, studies, we can hide this, we don't need it. Okay, and what Guy noticed quite accurately was when you are outside the channels, depending on direction, the orange dot up works very effectively for 5 to 10 points or more, right? It is fast as hell. All you do is go into your tick, go to symbol, and drop your tick to 25 cents instead of 50 cents. You will not be able to catch every trade, okay? And he is purely scalping this, right? He's not taking any trades for 40, 50, 60 points, right? He's simply looking for the area he wants to be involved in. He uses profile. He uses all the same other tools, and he's looking at a primary chart as well to see where sellers are getting jammed. And then he's using this chart to enter his trade. So just look at it. This is the first time I'm using it. I have no idea. We'll find out shortly. Right? It can obviously stop you. If you look up here, right, you're going to have to practice it because if you look up here, right, this can stop you. The other thing is when this works, by the way, it works just like this. So your stop, he was telling me he's using bigger stops, but I really think it should never come back into this, right? So you end up with about a 4 to 5 point stop, right? So it's very attractive. You're going to have to learn how to use it. I'm going to have to learn how to use it, right? So I'm sharing it with you, but that's part of the natural evolution of the room when you have people looking for solutions to problems, right? So Guy isn't trying to solve the problem of figuring out the market, right? He's trying to solve the problem of how do I get $500 to $1,000 a day into my accounts so I can get the $1 million. It's a different problem, right? Most conversation you'll see that surrounds the market, and this applies to whichever chart you're using, right? Most conversation when you look on StockTwits or Twitter or any other forum, right? They're trying to solve the problem of, and I'm going to recalculate this right now. make sure I'm on 3 days. Data limiting. 3 days. Okay. If someone will let me know if we match after I do this. I don't know why this is all highlighted, but I'm going to unhighlight it. There we go. I'm not trying to solve the problem, okay, of the market and which way it's going, right? Occasionally I get to a market where I make a lot of money, but with regard to the Apex accounts, okay, or even if you're in your own individual account, I'm trying to solve the problem of how you get money into your account and walk out of the day with more money than you started. That's the problem I'm trying to fix. Most traders that come in are trying to solve the problem of reading the market or getting the market to do what they want it to do. I am trying to solve the problem of figuring out what the market wants me to do, right? And they're very different problems, okay? And Guy came close to quitting, right? He's been through SMB Capital, and he came through and tried to do it my way originally, what I showed him, and he finally worked. And this is what I mean by staying around long enough, using the algos and the tools long enough to fit the way you think and the way you operate. Some people are going to look at that 10-tick chart and just go, it's too damn fast for me, right? Some people are going to look at it and get upset because it's so fast that you can't get the trade sometimes. Some people are going to look at it and go, oh, when I get the opportunity and it sets up, this is freaking fantastic, right? It's going to depend on who you are and how you are. This is about pushing the limits, a 10-tick chart, of how fast someone can think and execute simultaneously, okay? And if you can't do it, it's fine. Just come back over here and use this chart right over here and do your trades normally. They work, right? Where I see people having a difficult time is being extremely hard on themselves, right, for not catching a trade, or an extreme discomfort because they don't get a trade on a particular day that fits their model, right? And I can tell you right now, there's going to be people that see, well, I'm just going to use Guy as the model. So Guy's clearly comfortable with that 10-tick chart, right? He's worked out through the details. He has had some down days with it or some flat days with it, right? But he's worked out the details of the ins and outs. Guy, correct me if I'm wrong at any point, please. Okay? He's worked out the ins and out details of it, and he's gone in and figured out, this is how I pull out my money out of the market. And at the end of the day, right, you got to remember, there is no ESPN for day traders, right? Ronnie, no one gives a shit that you pulled out 30 points, right? You're not hitting the highlight reel, right? Ian, no one's hitting the highlight reel for you too when you hit your 5 or 6 point ES trade, right? Where we toil in anonymity, right? And the reward is you get money to live the rest of your life, to do what you want to do. And there's too many people involved in the glory of getting the read right when in terms of the larger market, and the glory should be, I pulled out $500 to $1,000 or $2,000 or $10,000, whatever you're capable of. That should be the glory in your trading and nothing else, right? That should be that should be the end of the day. Bottom line is that you took more money out of the market than you put into the market, and then limiting yourself so that you don't have to sit here all freaking day long. And believe me, I love sitting here all day long, but it becomes addictive when you sit all day and you're not doing anything else, and your brain just, if you believe Dr. Huberman and other people who are experts at focus and how the brain works, you've got about 2 hours to pound it out at a high level from a mental focus standpoint, and then your performance drops off, right? So pick the days you're going to trade, and remember that March to the Million, it's 4 days a week, 10 months out of the year. There's a lot of room. That's over 60 days where you can just do nothing and still hit your number. I did not look what we have on the econ calendar, so I'm going to look right now. Today's the 10th. We have wholesale inventories at 9 o'clock, crude oil inventories at 9:30, and Fed Williams speaks in the last hour. I won't be around for that, so I'm not worried. about that, right? And again, that argues for balance. The shorts are going to need a driver. And remember, the other thing that's important is we're going into earnings season. Earnings season is usually supportive of stocks. Even if they don't rip up, they have a hard time ripping down, right? So that's my 2 cents. We've obviously been ripping up almost every day for a couple of weeks now, right? One way or another. We had a small pullback, and now it seems like the market's kind of marching back. We're above both the 24-hour and the RTH 5-day moving averages, which lends support to the long side of the trade. Now you just got to figure out what, where, and how you're going to trade that trade. I do not suggest you turn on that 10-tick chart with a 25-cent tick and try to day trade it today, right? You've had no preparation, no study, no looks, but I want to share it without, and I will not be pointing out trades on it, right? I'm monitoring it. I'll be taking trades on it. And by the way, I'm taking uno contracto, one contract on that thing, one contract on that thing, binary, and I'm just shooting for 5 points, $100, right? I want to see if it can be done, right? So hit me with questions. We are below yesterday's high, which is the 16,868, and we have 2 prior days highs, which you can see we exhausted overnight. Then we have the low. This is where the 5-day moving average is approximately, and this is yesterday afternoon's swing low. Yeah, I'm just trading on one contract. I don't want to blow up. Sean, I haven't worked out all the details, but it's definitely a 5-point stop, so 5-point target would be fine. It's 1-to-1. It's 5 to 7 points. But I don't have all the this is why when I'm sharing it, guys, watch it. Yesterday's the first day it wasn't even my idea. Guy told me about it, and I went and looked at it. I have no lead time on this. Way faster. So this trade will not fit Bill at all for lots of reasons, right? Oh, Sean, it's just it's just taking the dot in the direction that it forms like this with basically a 5 to 7 point stop right there. And it should just rip just like this on the outside of the channel, just like this. It should go instantly. But it's on a 10 tick with a 25 cent tick, not a 50-cent tick. And Sean, we can talk about programming it. It probably works pretty well programmed, but I haven't gone through the details. But it looks just like this. It looks like that. That's the long. The stop goes, I'm putting it right behind the back of the body and hope that it goes, right? Just like this too, right there, and hope that it goes. I don't have anything more to add to it, right? You won't be able to get every one. Probably the first half hour is going to be like impossible to get filled on it, frankly. So just look at it, play with it, see what you think, right? It took Guy quite a while to figure it out, right? He worked on it pretty hard, okay? So I would not flip and go, hey, this is what I'm doing this morning, and off we go to the races, right? So let's see where the where the chart lays out. I want to see this really quick. Did I erase this accidentally? That would suck. Hold on. Let's see if I have it over here. Dude, I think I erased my... Oh, wait, it's right here. What chart number is that? Chart number 10. And there we go. F5, chart drawings. There we go. So open up and we'll see where the balance sets us off, right? These are your support levels lower, those are support levels higher. Why don't I have this marked off is a very good question. Hold on a second here. I may have this. There's the gap fill. There's prior days. Hold on one sec. Let me fix this chart. I have that. This is messed up. This can't be right. Hold on 1 second here. This is, I messed it up. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to fix this really quick. It's this. I did it and I erased the work. Give me 2 seconds, I'll fix it up. That'll leave. This goes away. This goes. Sorry, the one I printed is correct, but this is not. I don't think we get back here, so I'm not worried about it. Dun, dun, dun. Yesterday's afternoon swing low. That has to go in order to go lower, right? And then I won't worry about above for right now. Let me translate over here. Oh, and this is the moving average. Okay, this makes sense now. Got it. And there's a Dalton gap fill and zones above over there. Coffee smells good. Back to the high of the day. So far, no bias established. We're just dancing on prior day's high. That's going to be a tweezer's top. If that 59 prints with an orange dot down at 59.25 for a rollback to retest the bottom of the 5-minute range, just FYI. Again, we're not short, right? At least not so far. And if you look at ES, pretty good on the trucking to the upside, right? So just keep that in mind. The other thing you have to do on that 10 tick is I think you have to calibrate it with the 24 tick to the highs and lows of which way it's going, meaning make sure you get it to the outside of the channel before you're using that. The bands are much smaller on it. ES just has no sellers. Again, there's also a lack of speed right out of the gate, lack of rotation. The whole entire range is 44 to 74, 30 points. We're still looking for that 50 to 60 point range to really get things cooking, right? Excuse me a second, guys. And that is a tweezer's top with the algo to the downside right there as a valid trade, right? we haven't established bias one way or the other. Right now we have to get above, oh, we do. You either need an orthodox close above here or an orthodox close below here. And until then, it's neutral for me. And obviously buyers have the overall edge. And again, there's econ in 9. And it is not unusual for the first 2 weeks of the year. Last week was the exception. Usually the first 2 weeks of the year are pretty slow, right? So gear your mind towards that. Don't beat yourself up. It usually last year was fine, but the year before was almost till the 20th of January till it picked up, if my memory serves. And when it picked up massively. So the deal is, even though you got a short signal here, and I did not short this, by the way, okay, even though you got a short signal here, you've got no driver, right? You've got no momentum to the downside, you've got no speed, and you've got no range, right? That's a big sign right there. Like, hey, you know, don't assume just because you get the signal doesn't mean that we're in a short market in any way, shape, or form, right? They keep knocking on that door. We want to see it get shaken up, but it has not been shaken up yet. Hey Ian, I'll circle with you. I just saw your message. I'll circle with you later today. And Joshua, I have not seen yours. Okay, so Joshua said maybe we just do soft lines. I'm all right with that, so that you just see the econ. That's not a bad idea. I mean, just see the bars themselves. Or just keep it on one chart, right? Like you can do the IB on the 24 tick and leave this alone, right? Like that's the other way to do it. So it would look like this. Let me know if this is better. Damn. I'm going to have to go reset this for the way it is. Settings. Okay. I don't know why it says half IB low, half IB high. I want... I'll figure it out, but I'll get it cleaned up, Joshua. That's a good 1684, 16844. It's the same thing. I'll figure it out. I'll play with it and get it fixed up. Okay. We'll see if that works better. Or just have two charts is the other solution to the problem. Got it, Bill. Okay, thank you. So it's the same thing. Perfect. Thank you, sir. That all started from this over here. Now I have an orthodox close below the 5-minute bar, just FYI. Orange dot down, orange dot up. Again, below the 5 minutes, so your target is back to that level over there. And you're right in front of econ. By the way, you're in that 10-minute window. So I'll just be sitting out waiting for it. So the bias now is to find sellers up in this area, right? Sellers up in this area. And we need to get a close above 16,874 to continue higher, or a push down into support levels back lower, like yesterday's swing low, the 15-day moving average, or these support levels back here. Should also be a support level. It's frustrating, it's not translating over chart to chart, so I'll have to go fix that. Apologies for that. Yeah. It's nothing, Ronnie, but they're waiting for it. It's wholesale inventories. It doesn't matter, but it puts the market on hold. If you'll notice right in front of those numbers that mean nothing, the liquidity just gets thin and it does this stuff. Remember, above that 5-day moving average, usually if you use the rule of thumb, your low would be set somewhere in the morning, and then we tend to grind up through the rest of the day. It's a rule of thumb. It's not a read on the market. Be right back, guys. Let's see where she goes. The hard thing about the 10 is switching back and forth between that and your larger time frame setups off the 24 is a little bit challenging. Again, sellers are in overall control, right? Right there, I'd agree with that. Grind kicking in. Stop on the downside there if you took that. Starting to grind, guys. Weird ghost town like. Watch out. See this right here? I kind of changed the character all of a sudden. That's dot into dot. That should be good. So what you're looking for, let me explain what you're looking for. You should see these lifting, right? Like that should lift. This should have lifted, right? This should lift. So if you're trying to figure out, hey, where am I getting stopped early? This is the test of yesterday afternoon's low, right? And we're starting to grind. We're starting to grind on everything. It sucks, but we're starting to grind, right? So we're not up and we're not down, right? We're +2 and +12 with the sell bias, right? With the sellers having gained control right over here, right? We need to see them get back above. The target back up is back into these 5-minute zones, okay? And we want to see how they're operating. This is a fine stop to take right here. This is an all right stop to take, but you don't want to take them all in a row and get crunched on them, right? And this should push, actually, right up into this. Get rid of this white. I don't know why that white's there, but we're going to get rid of it. Sorry. Okay. That is a valid entry. Dot into dot, right? It wasn't quite a super trap, it was just an apex trap, but it's still a valid entry. Back to the 5 minute, which is exactly the target. Ed, is this making sense to you, buddy? I'm reading it out to you. Back to the 5 minute. Back on railroad tracks the other way. Very difficult to get that read. See that? I mean, it's just weird. Now look at that. Just grind, 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 grind. Come to a complete halt. All in. Hell if I understand it. above that swing. You had to take both trades back to back to get that lift. And no speed. Again, just slow, slow, slow. Hope it wakes up. Yesterday, the trades were actually in the afternoon were the super traps that worked. squeezer's top potential there. Again, until you get above the 5, the bias is, this should provide resistance, which it's done. Right? See how it's slow grinding through here, and you should get freed up above here. So this part sucked. Like that should have just been like bam and bam right up. Like it just, what else can I say? All the way back to the high. I did not have, had we taken out this here, I would have said target here or higher, but we can't even get to like afternoon swing lows, and that's a little frustrating. So we've really had one shot. And I am sitting here with my hands in my pocket. There's not enough speed for me to have conviction in this thing, right? Like straight away, just bam and up, straight down, straight up is really a frustrating pattern to have to deal with. And we had the long, right? You had apex into apex. I mean, you had dot into dot, which lifted, and that's perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. But damn, it'd have been nice if we could have gotten a backside test or something. Like you just don't picture we're not going to test any kind of support. We've gone from all straight down to all straight up again. And now what we want is that Goldilocks that we had last week. Why is that? It may just be that it's slow. Let's try this. Reload, recalculate. Reload, recalculate. So remember, the important thing is you not dig a hole, right? You not dig a hole and let the trade set up for itself. This is so odd. I can fix it without disconnecting. You have a POC under POC if you dare short it there. So the area I'm having difficulty with this is connecting this to that 10 tick chart, other than using the outside of the channel, but I want to cover it so fast that I miss the opportunity. Like this is POC under POC, right? With orange dot up. So that normally I would say, yeah, that's a short, right? Like I would do it small, but I'd say, yeah, that's normally a short, right? Against that 72.50, right? Instead, what happens is I get lost in the setup of the 10 tick with no adjustment on for the aggregation of the transactions, and then I'm like, what do I do now? So, at any rate, that's the challenge. I'll see what I can do with it. But let's go through the basics, right? We don't want to overtrade. We don't want to force our hand. We just want to let the trade develop the way it needs to develop so that we can get our profits. And if today is not our day, right, tilt is not okay. Getting frustrated because it's been 2 slow days in a row, right, not okay. That's not our trade plan, right? It's just not our trade plan, okay? So let's let it develop for us, and then we can come back and collect the P&L that's due us when the market is good. I cannot emphasize this enough. But hold on. Sorry, guys. Ed, I need to look into it. I haven't had that yet, but it doesn't mean I'm wrong. Hold on, let's see what everyone's saying. Yeah, I agree with that, Joshua. I think it was long. I have no problem with it. I'm lamenting the lack of rotation. Oh. Yeah, slow day, that's it. Wait, Tasia, can you reference back to what I was supposed to look at? Is it right above, or was it? I just missed your message. Coming up in 2 days. Agreed. I need to think through it in a minute, Tasia. Hold on. But everything's cool overall, Ed, outside of the no fills, right? I like the idea. I hate the slow pace, but I like the idea, Tasia. I'll look at it later, more detail. Okay, so So someone in the room had an internet issue with fills, right? And I know my instinct is when you have something negative happen like that, like they had the trade and it didn't get filled across their accounts in Rhythmic, you want to get angry, right? It's a natural response. There's nothing wrong with that response of wanting to get angry. But where I get in trouble with that is I want to revenge trade it and force my hand. Like that 30 or 40 points is owed me on that trade, right? So instead, I got to go back and do two things: give myself credit for seeing the trade, number one; taking the trade, number two; and then write down technical issues suck, right? And I will not let them turn that into a tilt day for me. Okay, I will not let them. They can. That's part of the business. I will not let them turn that into a tilt, especially when the environment is not beneficial to coming back and taking quick trades, quick, right? I'm going to do the opposite. Pressing up. What time is it? 41? Man, it's almost like it's a slow European session. I believe that's a new high of the day. Again, longs, even if you're making mistakes on the longs, much more forgiving than the shorts. Above that 5-day moving average, longs get the win. Going into earnings season, the longs usually get the win. That's why you don't see me fighting to look for shorts all over the place, right? And I know once we establish above here, we don't have an orthodox close, but if that prints, we will, right? If we get that orthodox close above, I'm looking for pushes back in. And I'm very grateful that I'm not sitting there just trying to pound the short side of this. What a nice pullback that was. I just didn't have the vision for the push. But somebody just had to short cover, that's for sure. You can see as soon as they broke that 5 minute, they're like, oh, I gotta cover. Well, Tasia, you had the grand slam home run on that, brother. If you had the vision to see that it was going to push like that. Dips back in, should be viable into that 5 minute range. Really, we still don't have a very high level participation of market here, right? Like it's really unusual to see NQ trade just straight down, straight up, no contra, no, 20, 30 points up, down, shakeouts, things like that. And that's okay, right? I just, you just need to manage your perspective. That's all. I know it's frustrating when it's slow like this and you had one shot. If you didn't take the trade, you didn't get anything, right? I get it. It's still not an excuse to go on tilt. Excuse me just a second. It's a grinder. Hey guys on YouTube, I'm going to let y'all go. Sorry there was one trade. It was that right there. Actually, if you took this was a stop and then a super trap back in, and then that lifted for, heck, I don't know how many points. 810 to 90, almost 100, 80 points. So I did not ride that like I wanted to. I got nothing. So that's okay. That's just okay. We'll just figure it out later. Okay, guys, talk to you in a little bit on YouTube. See you all in the morning.